Lawn care versus pest control, which is better? I'm going to try to give you guys a breakdown today. I'm going to take each aspect of lawn care, everything, your expenses, everything that goes into lawn care, and I'm going to take everything that goes into pest control. And in the case that I'm talking about things that I absolutely know. So I was in lawn care for 30 years. I've been in pest control for 7 years. I want to tell you what the differences are. And at the end of this, I think I'm really going to open people's eyes to, especially lawn care guys. This is geared towards you guys. And it doesn't matter what business you're in. It doesn't have to be lawn care. I mean, your businesses, your profit margins will be different in all of these things. But for the purpose of this video, it's lawn care and pest control. So let's talk about the costs of doing lawn care. The example that I'm going to use are for a solo operator. Okay, so if it's a solo operator in lawn care, that means you don't have a buddy helping you, it's just you. Mosquito control, same thing. There's just one person, one technician, that's it. So remember, as I give you these figures, you don't have two people in a truck, you have one, and that's you. Okay? All right. So, a single residential job. That's what we're going to start with. That's what we're going to base these numbers on. Now, my numbers may not be 100% accurate to yours. Yours might be a little different. Yours might cost you a little more, might cost a little less. But what I'm trying to do is come up with the average so you guys can take a look at both sides and make a determination which one is best, okay? So I'm going to go through the numbers, and then at the end of the day, we're going to figure out together what's best, all right? What makes the most money. All right, so I'm going to break it down as accurate as possible. All right, let's start out by talking about lawn care first. And keep in mind, there's a lot of expenses that go into both of these, okay? So when I talk about your expenses, you have the cost of the vehicles, you have the cost of the trailers, the cost of the mowers, you have cost of trimmers, edgers, blowers, string line, oil and filters and all kinds of things, right? Tire changes, this and that. So as you listen to this, keep your mind open about those things. So let's talk about the first thing. What I'm going to try to do, I'm going to break down the pricing the best I can. So say if you have a $10,000 mower that you bought, okay, and it lasts X many years, you know, so many hours, I tried to break that price down and say, what does each individual, what is my cost? Because there is a cost. Somehow you got to pay for that mower, right? Same thing with all the stick equipment that I'm going to mention. So the prices I'm going to give you are costs that I'm trying to break it down the best I can. If your mower costs you $10,000, you get X many, you know, thousands of hours out of it. What would my cost be per hour? And then take that cost per hour. And if it takes you 20 minutes to do a job, you break it down that way. So that's how I came up with my numbers. So I want you guys to pay attention. Again, the numbers aren't 100% accurate. I'm doing the best job I can to figure it out for you and I both here. All right, so let's take a look at this. So your mower, let's say that's $5 a day for that mower, okay? $5, easy way to break it down. So every job I go to, it costs me $5 to run that mower. Because again, you got to pay for that mower. You can't just say, oh, that's already paid for. No, it still costs you. It costs you every time you use that mower. You don't realize it now, but when the breakdowns come, then you're going to realize it. So, and this costs are without breakdowns too. So this is if everything works right, which of course it never does. There's always breakdowns. So, and the more mechanical things you have moving, the more things there are to break down. Keep that in mind too, okay? So mower, I'm just going to put $5 up here for the lawnmower for the day. Trimmer, I'm going to put $2 up here. Now this is not per the day, per customer. I'm sorry, per customer, okay? $5 for the mower, $2 for the trimmer. Your blower, $5. Your truck, I'm going to put down $10 for the truck, and that's probably very light, especially with the cost of them today. Now your trailer, I'm going to put down $5 for the trailer, because that costs you money too. $2 for the edger, and then fuel. It's hard to figure, but if I just figured $2 for this one customer, and then your stick equipment, I'm going to figure $2 for them, and your oil for your mixed gas, I'm going to put $1 down. Okay, so things that are not included in this are your oil and filters, your labor to do maintenance, your trimmer line, your tires for your vehicles and your trailers, the cost to replace your tires. So I came up with a total for that one customer of $34. So if you add all these things up, my cost to do business at that person's property on that day, it cost me $34 to do that. And you guys have to include all these prices in there. And there's probably some I haven't even thought of. But I want those included just for the sake of this. All right, guys, now let's talk about the pest control side of things. Let's look at those expenses. So you either have a van like this or a truck like this, okay? Remember, it's one operator in that vehicle. That's it. So you don't have to pull a trailer. You don't need all that extra equipment. It's just your van and a backpack blower, okay? So now, let's say, I'm going to say for the truck or the van, there's going to be a $3 cost for that because I'm not pulling a trailer and all of that. So I'm just going to say $3 for that, for the cost to drive that thing there. And then I'm going to say the fuel for the vehicle costs you about $2 because it's way better on fuel than what your truck is pulling a trailer with mowers on it. Your blower, I'm going to put $5 down for your blower just because I think that our blowers are expensive. The ones we use are like $1,300 a pop. So anyway, chemicals. I'm going to put down $5 for chemicals, and that is steep. Typically, we do it for $3, but I'm just going to put $5 in there because sometimes we add other additives that bring it up to that price. Not often, but it happens. All right, so 3, 2, 5, and 5. Now, things not included. Again, same as lawn care. The oil and filters, the labor to do the maintenance on those things, your tires. So basically, I have a total of $15. My cost to do business for that one customer is $15. Okay? Now, that's less than half of the mowing. Mowing was at 34, pest control is at 15. Okay? Now, the winner in this example is clearly pest control, right? All right, let's go further. All right, now let's talk about the time required to be on those jobs, okay? Not travel time. You'll have travel time for mowing the same as you'll have for pest control. So let's just talk about the time. For lawn mowing, typically when I was mowing grass for any residential yard that I had, I was usually there anywhere from 15 to 20 minutes. So for mosquito control, which is the business that I'm in, the mosquito police, so for us, our average property of a half an acre is anywhere from 5 to 7 minutes, and you're done with that property, okay? So the winner, example again, on time, is pest control, because I'm literally there half the time that you are. And what does that translate into? I'm going to be able to get more jobs done than you will. All right, now let's talk about the profits. We'll take lawn care first. So again, your prices may vary. So some of you might charge more than this example. Some will charge less than this example. But this is the example, and let's see how we do on it. So lawn care, if it's $34, and let's say you had $34 in cost to do business on that one property, one operator. Now, and again, that's not with labor either, figured into either one of these, you guys. So labor wasn't a part of that, okay, because it's just you. So it's just you going out doing your job, me going out doing my job. I do pest control, you do lawn care. So let's say you had $34 in cost to go out and do your job. You charge $45, let's say. If you charge $45, it leaves you $11 in profit, okay? And that's an average for one guy. Now, if you can do 20 lawns a day, which would be a stretch being one guy, but depending on how they're stacked up. Sometimes they're stacked up like cordwood and you can knock those out. Other times you have more travel time, so the time will vary. But let's just say that we both do 20 jobs a day, okay? So if you're doing 20 jobs a day, times that $11, okay? That's $220 a day in profit is what you're going to make. That's pre-tax profit. You're going to make $220 a day. Now let's look at pest control. All right, now into the mosquito police part of things. Our cost to do business with a customer is $15, okay? That's my cost to do business there, my expenses, if you will. What we charge is $95. Now, why are we able to do that? Why is there such a high ticket there? The reason is, not everybody and their brother is involved in this business right now. The more people that get into this business, the more they will drive the price down. But for now, the price is up there because there's very few of us that are out there doing this. Okay, let me be clear on that. All right, take the $95 that we charge a customer. subtract the $15 cost that we had to do business with that customer that day. Leaves us a profit of $80. And I do that in about 7 minutes. But my profit is $80, okay? And I can also tell you it is way less work than going through, jumping on the mower, jumping on the edger after you're done, jumping on the trimmer, grabbing the blower, blowing everything off, loading, unloading. It's a lot of work versus I show up, punch in my app, start, I go back, mix my chemicals, fire up the blower, spray, in and out of there in 7 minutes. Okay? In summary, you have lawn care profits. Take a look at those. If you times that $220, so well, in one day, don't even times it. In one day, you make $220. In mosquito control, we make $1,600 in one day. $220 and $1,600. What a difference. Huge, right? Absolutely huge. So, another way to put it is in 1 week, let's take 1 week, let's times it times 5 days a week. If you happen to have that many lawn care clients where you can go 5 days a week, 20 jobs a day, you're going to be at $1,100 in profit for that week. And you think to yourself, man, I'm kicking ass and taking names, right? And I'm just glorified with the amount of money that I'm bringing in. Now look at pest control. Look at my business. And I'm not saying this to brag in any way. I'm just giving you the facts. So in my business, making $1,600 a day times 5 is $8,000 a week. That's $8,000 versus $1,100. I'll say that again. Lawn care is $1,100. Mosquito police is $8,000. Huge monumental difference. All right, so now, having given you both sides, now you guys know why I got out of lawn care. I saw the profits that were being made in this business, the high profit margins compared to lawn care. It is an absolute no-brainer to go to the pest control side of things for me. Now, don't think I don't love mowing grass. I absolutely love mowing grass. I couldn't wait to get on a mower. Mower takes time out of you. It really does. And, not to mention just the constant beating on your back if you have a sit-down mower and stuff like that. But it takes its toll in pest control too. You're walking around, you're carrying that backpack on your back. That's also hard on your back. But if you look at it from purely a financial point of view, it is not even purely financial. Purely financial is, pest control is way better, right? Way better. And if you look at it from a work point of view, like what's more labor intensive? Lawn care is way more labor intensive than pest control. Okay, hands down. You have a lot less equipment with the mosquito police version of this. You don't have to tow the truck, the trailer, all the attachments. You have a van and a blower in the back of your van. Fuel is way cheaper, all of that stuff. It's way less work. It is less time on each job. And what that translates into, I tried to keep, for the purpose of this study that I did today, I tried to keep it simple and say, you did 20 jobs, I did 20 jobs. And I know that if you do 20 jobs, typically you are dead at the end of the day. You are just dead to even get those 20 done. Now if you turn around in my business and do 20, I typically will do between 25 and 30 jobs a day. That's reality. That's what I actually do. Between 25 and 30 jobs a day. Why can I do that? Because I'm in and out of there so much faster than you are. So I can get more work done, hence make more money. But again, for the purpose of this study, I just kept it 20 customers in lawn care, 20 in pest control. All right, less initial investment. When I look at lawn care, having to buy the truck, the trailer, the mowers, the trimming equipment, your edgers, the blower, your blades for the mowers, you have all those things that are in there that you don't think about, trimmer line and all of that. Then I look at the expenses for pest control. You have to buy your vehicle, which would be the same as your truck, but we buy a van, which is actually cheaper. And then the fuel mileage is better on the van than it is on the truck. And then all I have to do is put a blower inside that thing. I just have one item, a backpack blower, chemical blower. That's it. I don't need anything else. Okay? So way less equipment, I guess is what I was getting at there. It's super scalable. Like, I couldn't believe how fast the mosquito police business just soared. And we went from, and you guys have heard me say this before, we went from 0 vehicles to 15 in 6 years. It is super scalable. All right? Just doing the method that we do and the systems that we have, that's what made it this way. Okay? So versus lawn care. I can remember when I was in lawn care, for a while, I was at 50 customers and I couldn't get any more to save my life. And if I did get a couple more, I would lose a couple that year. And this went on. Well, then you got to maybe 100 clients and maybe you got 200 clients. You know, even if you had 500 clients, you still look at the money you take there. Now take 500 mosquito control clients and see how much more money you make. Okay? So it doesn't matter how much bigger you are. A lot of you guys that have a lot more accounts out there, it's the same thing. If you match your accounts to my accounts, I'm still going to come out way better. And so that's because of several factors. And one is, the biggest one is not everybody and their brother is into it. There's such an easy point of entry in lawn care that if anybody can grab a mower, I've seen guys dragging mowers down the street with a sign on them that say they'll mow lawns for 20 bucks, you know. So anybody can get into that. Versus pest control, you got to go in and you got to get your license to get into it. It's not that big of a deal, guys. So enough on that. There's a lot less maintenance on things. When I come home at the end of the week, I don't have to sharpen the mower blades, clean the deck, possibly change the oil on it. I got to mix all the gas. I got to do all this. So we still got to mix gas for our, well, no, we don't have to do that anymore. We got away from the 2-stroke equipment and we use 4-stroke now. So I don't have the gas mixing either. But you spend so much maintenance airing up the tires on your mowers, airing up the tires on the trailer, checking for leaks, greasing them, you know, all kinds of things that go into play. It is so simple with the mosquito police. It's not, you know, your blower, you change the oil once a week. It takes 6 ounces. That's like that much. And you just dump that little bit out, dump a little bit back in, you know, blow out your air filter, you're done. You're done with that in like 5 to 6 minutes. Versus trying to do the maintenance on all your stuff, which takes you, you know, an hour or 2 hours a night at the end of the week. You know what I mean? So anyway, way less maintenance. It's a simpler business model. It's so much simpler than lawn care. I cannot stress this enough to you guys. I make way more money at it. And if anything that I've said today interests you guys, I highly encourage you to check out the Mosquito Police Partnership Program. And you can find that on the link below. Click on it, go there, see what we have to say about this. If any of this makes sense to you and you want to change your life and you want to make 6, 7, 8 times your money from what you're doing now, fill out the form and give me a call. Thanks for watching.